What is up, guys? Specstar here today with my finals battle for UTL, and it has been so long without uploading this that most of you guys have probably forgotten what this is. And this is a GBA tiered league I got into a bit ago. I started uploading for it and then I stopped, so I guess first I owe you guys an explanation of why. There were let's just say there are a lot of issues going on with the league. For example, there was once 22 days that went by without me hearing from any opponent. Next, battles were done completely out of order. I did my week 12 battle like 2 weeks before I did my week 8 battle. The whole thing was kind of messy. There were a few battles that got a little jacked up by weird circumstances, and I did claim a forfeit win on one of the later games, so it would have just been messed up without all this stuff, so I did not. But I thought you guys should get some closure here, so I have the league finals, and I decided to upload it so you guys could see how the league ended, how everything wound up. And in this, I'm going to be facing my man Obi, and he's got himself a team consisting of Clefable, Aerodactyl, Greninja, Magmortar, Kyurem, and Latias. And I'm going to switch over here to my team. Let me get the right angle. I've got a Jirachi here, which is Expert Belt, 3 attacks, then Rocks, max speed, max special attack. I thought against his team this had pretty good breaking ability. I did not think he would have a very fun time trying to switch in on this Pokemon. Rocks there in the last move, I thought having the ability to get them up was definitely a larger priority for me than another coverage move, since those 3 covered a lot of what he did have. Next up here, I've got a Banded Tyranitar, which is to help me with his Mega Latias. And nothing too special about this set. Dual Stab, Earthquake, let me hit basically what those things did not. And just a little bit of speed in case he tried to creep me with something. Next up here, another... my team is a little bit boilerplate up to this point. I didn't go too far out of the ordinary with it. Jirachi being the biggest deviation from standard, but in this I thought I had a better play just kind of being safe and by the book, giving me the highest chance. So my Tangrowth here, pretty close to what you see in OU, or what you used to see at least when Zardwai was running around. Giga Drain, Knockoff, Sledge Bomb, Rock Slide, just kind of the best coverage to hit his team. Next up here, I've got a substitute Nidoking, and that is to allow me to come in on things such as his Clefable. I wanted to be able to punish that thing. If he gets it in, I'm going to get Nidoking in, and he's going to have a hard time switching in on it. That was kind of the way my plan was for that. Next up here, Comfey. I got my Calm Mind, Draining Kiss, Synthesis, Taunt special. Taunt is going to allow me to beat Toxapex with this thing primarily. That's the biggest one that Taunt helps me with. And yeah, outside of that, pretty much by the book. Physically defensive Calm Mind. It had the potential to win in the late game, and that was something I was thinking about with that. Last up here, I've got a physically defensive Piloswine, Ice Shard, Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Roar. Nothing too special there. Thick Fat. Yeah. And let's go back to the battle. Got the wrong replay there. Why did I have them both beside each other? But here we go. We got a line. I got the replay here, but first I'm going to eat the Starburst still in its wrapper. It's dope, you know? So let's get the show on the road. He is going to want to lead off with his Clefable. Yep. And I'm going to lead off with my Jirachi here. I was pretty sure he was going to switch out. Although this mod is busted and does always get its rocks up, so he may just want to do that. But considering his team is pretty weak to rocks, he's got 3 Pokemon that are neutral to it and 3 that are weak to it. I'm just going to prioritize getting my rocks up right here. He's going to go into Magmortar. I'm gonna get my rocks. Magmortar is a... I'm gonna want to explain this play, but as you guys see, I do go into Tyranitar. Magmortar is a hard Pokemon for me to switch in, really hard. And I had to make a difficult decision here. I thought that I was pretty sure he would have a fighting move, Focus Blast, or maybe even something physical if he didn't want to miss. But I'm deciding to go into Tyranitar anyway. And my thought process was this. I thought that he would go for the fire move first, because it was kind of a safer play. And he did still have the option to go for the fighting move after. So I went into Tyranitar thinking that I could catch the fire move first, and then while he was potentially going for the fighting move, I would have made my pivot into Nidoking. So I was just trying to go for a pivot there, but it's going to backfire. He lands a Focus Blast, does a lot to my T-Tar. Barely hangs on here. I decided I wanted to go into my Nidoking here, and it was a pretty aggressive play, but I did live a Fire Blast if he did go for one, and I did not think that's what he would go for. There was a decent chance he was choiced and walked into the Focus Blast, which is something I had to consider. And if he could mix up moves, he may just go for the accurate move, and Nidoking kind of covers whatever that could be. So Nidoking comes in on the Thunderbolt, which is pretty nice. I get to just sub up here, because I know I'm going to force him out, and I know I'm faster than that thing. He's going to go into his Mega Latias. I'm just content to go for my Ice Beam and kind of feel his set out. He does go for his Psyshock. Unfortunately, my T-Tar is pretty much gone, so this thing becomes more annoying to deal with, but I'm not too concerned about it. So he goes for Psyshock there. I knew he either had to click Psyshock or Roost, and Jirachi was fine for either. Absolutely munches on his Psyshock. I do have the Expert Belt Moonblast, which I can click. He goes for Roost. I'm going to go for my Moonblast. It's not quite doing 50%, but it's dropping his special attack, meaning he can't really set up with his Calm Minds. So I can just sit there and continue clicking Moonblast. Moonblast is more PP than his Roost, so I'm not really pressured to make any kind of switch here. I can just sit, keep clicking my Moonblast, keep clicking him. Roost has 16 PP, my Moonblast does have 24. So he will go into Clefable here. He may be trying to make a pivot into Magmortar, and I did consider that. But I have Rocks up, so he doesn't really want to be taking Rocks into Flash Cannon. Even if he did, I'm getting him pretty close to Psychic range with that, and another switching on Rocks, so that's not the thing I'm most dreading. So I'm just going to go right for my Flash Cannon here, and because I'm Expert Belt, I will take out the Clefable. Always nice to see that busted, annoying Pokemon go down. He goes back into Latias here, and I did not really know why, but I'm not complaining. I will take that, and I'm just going to keep clicking Moonblast. There's really, literally no reason for me to not just continue clicking Moonblast. Always my smartest play. He does wind up going for his Earthquake here, and he's going to let his Latias die, which I will take that. That Pokemon should not be allowed. I was opposed to it being allowed, but it is nice to see that threat go down. He brings in his Greninja here, and I'm going to munch a Dark Pulse from my Tangrowth here. This is just Torrent Greninja, I want to be clear. I feel the need to clarify that because they did allow Mega Latias, but yes, this is just Torrent Greninja. He's going to do a Dark Pulse, do a pretty good amount of damage here. And I believe here I'm actually going to make the pivot out because he showed Life Orb, which means he does have the potential to be mixed. And I didn't want to take a Gunk Shot right now. He goes out into his Kyurem here, as I am going to go out into my Tyranitar. Just kind of sacking it off to kind of see what he wanted to go for here. Instead, he switches out into his Kyurem, and that's it's not a conclusive sign that he's not Gunk Shot, because Gunk Shot most likely would have been a roll there, and he may potentially just not wanted to risk that, especially with the mischance. But it's my first sign that he may not be Gunk Shot, which is something to follow for me when I'm considering if my Tangrowth is going to be a reliable switching on that thing, and if I want to stay in for the second turn. Kyurem will take out my T-Tar, which is fine with me. Obviously it's slower than the rest of his team, wasn't going to do anything anymore. I get to bring in my Jirachi, and that's fun times. Reason I went into Jirachi is because on the last turn he clicked Ice Beam, so that means either he's Scarf and locked into a move that's not doing enough damage to me, or I'm faster and he does not appreciate my Flash Cannon, not at all. And I'm happy to get, even if he does survive the Flash Cannon because he's bulky, I'm happy to get hit damage off on Kyurem. It's one of the things most threatening left from him. But he goes down to Magmortar, takes Rocks, takes Flash Cannon, takes Sand, so I am getting important chip on it, but it is still very threatening to me. I'm gonna go into Nidoking. Nidoking at this point, Clefable's gone. It is probably slower than everything on his team except for Magmortar, so I thought it may be the weakest length of Pokemon I may be most willing to give up on. Here I'm actually going to go out into my Comfey, and that's because if he is something like Assault Vest or something like that, I am able to Calm Mind and set up on him and pester him because the Sandstorm's about to end. But first I want to actually make a Scout, because Comfey is a pretty comfortable win condition at this point. Pretty much beats everything he has, just need to get rid of Aerodactyl, which would take... it's really depending on his set if Aerodactyl is able to beat my Comfey, but it's looking really good for Comfey, so I'm not feeling like risking it. In this league, any Pokemon can run Z, and I have not seen a Z from... The Clefable didn't have it, Latias obviously didn't have it, Kyurem could still have it, but Kyurem doesn't really like to run Z. Aerodactyl could have it, and Magmortar could have it, so it is, I guess, a 1 in 3 possibility here, or maybe he didn't bring one, but more likely than not he did. So I just want to Scout for the Fire MZ, I don't want Comfey to take that hit. And I'm going to go into my Piloswine here, which covers him switching out or covers him going for the Z. He goes for Clear Smog. I know that Piloswine will take a Fire Blast or a Focus Blast here. He crits the Fire Blast, Piloswine still takes it. I'm just going to Roar. Magmortar's not a threat to me anymore. I guess it could come in on Tangrowth and do some damage to it, but I'm getting a little bit behind here. Could do some damage to Tangrowth, but I wasn't really scared of it. Roar also covered him potentially switching out, so I'm just, at this point, I'm just really playing safe. That's where my head's at. With Greninja here, he's going to go for Ice Beam. I go into my Tangrowth. I see the Ice Beam, and I'm going to switch out again here. This is going to be the tell to see if Gunk Shot or just Tangrowth wall him. I'm about to learn. If he's Gunk Shot, he will definitely go for it here, trying to take out my Tangrowth. And he goes into his Magmortar, as I am going to go into my Piloswine, ready to sack it off to find out. And he is not going to be Gunk Shot on his Greninja, which is good for me. His Magmortar will be able to take out my Piloswine, but that Pokemon's never coming back in. He doesn't have control unless his Aerodactyl for some reason is Defog. Jirachi is able to take that out with Moonblast. He brings in his Greninja here, and I am going to... I forget what I did, actually. I do not... Right, I went into Tangrowth, just to kind of see what he wanted to do. He goes into Kyurem, and I just wanted to be patient here, learn a little bit about what his Kyurem was trying to do, and I'm going to click Rock Slide. I know I would have lived in Ice Beam, but here, he subbed, and I clicked Rock Slide and broke his sub. So my thought process here is there's two things he's most likely to do, either Roost or click Ice Beam, and both of those are covered by me going to Jirachi. So that's what I'm going to do here. My dog's pestering me right now. Say hello to the good people. But my Jirachi will be able to take out the Kyurem with Moonblast. I clicked Moonblast because it covered a Greninja switch in. Here he goes into Aerodactyl. I'm just going to click Flash Cannon. This is the only Pokemon Jirachi is potentially useful for. It's not going to help me against Greninja, so I'm just clicking Flash Cannon. He goes for his setup, and I don't fault him for that. It was kind of a last-ditch effort to set up if I did switch out, but I did not have a reason to preserve my Jirachi here. And the Aerodactyl is going to go down. And now I know that I have won the game. Well, my dog continues to pester me, but now I know that I've won the game. Because my Comfey has the Triage, and Greninja has nothing except for Protect, which can go before that, and it cannot survive. So I'm going to win this game 2-0. And I am going to be the UTL champion. I guess you call it unfortunate that in light of some of the messy stuff that went on in there, I am not going to be returning for the next season, but it's nothing against them. Had some great guys in there, had fun in there, even despite the chaos, so no love lost here. Hope to see the guys in future leagues, and that's going to be it for this. So I hope you guys enjoyed the battle. In celebration, I'm going to be eating another Starburst in its wrapper. That's dope. I want to thank you guys for watching. Have yourselves a good night.